victims he left behind.
Mr. Porter, may I talk with you?
I'll kick it for your ass.
Mr. Porter, may I speak with you on behalf of the people of Massachusetts? The young people there.
Get the police.
I'll be right back, Mr. Porter. You don't have to call the police. We just want to know if there's anything you want to say.
Get the cops.
Porter slammed our cameraman and our camera so hard, the camera shut down. It took 2 men to pull him off us.
He's not dealing with a helpless 12-year-old now. He's dealing with a very angry 43-year-old. And I'm not going to stop until that man is prosecuted, until he is dealt with, and until all the other victims who he victimized get help, come forward, and can face it.
As of now, more than 60 people linked by terror, memory, and love. All because of one man.
I've been alone for 32 years until I saw Frank on television. And I've got a family now. But up until that time, I thought I was alone. I owe, I don't know how much to Frank, because without his efforts, I wouldn't be able to deal with my pain right now.
Your hero?
He's my hero. He really
You're my
is.
hero now, too.
He's a very, very brave man. And
So are you.
I'm getting there.
You're there.
As we said, the Rhode Island District Attorney says he will not prosecute. Massachusetts officials are undecided. There are questions about statute of limitations. As for the church, 2 weeks ago, the National Conference of Catholic Bishops issued guidelines urging churches to identify pedophiles, turn them over to the authorities, and help the victims. But it's just a recommendation. It's not binding. And what about Father Porter in Minnesota? Well, the Boston Globe ran an article today which confirmed something that we had heard. William Hutton, an officer in the police department in Oakdale, Minnesota, Porter's community, said he has now heard from 3 people raising questions. They say about 10 years ago, Porter abused them as youngsters in the Midwest. But all 3 cases would exceed the 7-year statute of limitations.
Coming up, some of America's most stunning land is practically being given away.
Is it a ripoff? Can you imagine buying an acre of federal land for about what a cup of coffee and a piece of pie would cost you at a roadside stand?
Tonight, why Congress has been so reluctant to stop the sale of the century when prime time continues after this from our ABC stations.
Saturday was a necessary force of police brutality.
This death is on us.
I hold you responsible for it, Scally.
If they're guilty, I'll nail them to the cross myself. Guys are right. You ain't one of us anymore.
Come in, Saturday.
This News Channel 5 News Brief is sponsored by Superior Dairy.
Court-ordered psychiatric evaluations are underway for Michael Levine, the man found not guilty by reason of insanity for the 1979 murder of supermarket executive Julius Kravitz. Tonight we will hear from a psychologist. A rape victim from North Ridgeville is declaring war against the man convicted of that crime. And a tabloid is reporting that President Bush met with an extraterrestrial. What does the president think about the story? We'll tell you. We'll see you at 11 o'clock.
I'm Lee Jordan with news about an extraordinary value in premium ice cream. New Superior Premium Ice Cream. All the great taste of the high-price brands without the high price.
Of 144 different import and domestic cars, only the elite make J.D. Power & Associates' top 10 models an initial quality list. That list now includes the Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra. We believe it reflects the commitment of the people who make it and the dealers who sell it, as well as the wisdom of the people who bought it. Cutlass Sierra from Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Cutlass Sierra, $1,000 factory cash back at your new Olds Connection dealership.
Crime Stoppers, tonight at 11 on News Channel 5.
Now for some new developments in the tailhook sexual harassment story you saw last week on our broadcast. Last Thursday, we talked to some of the 26 women who said they had been sexually assaulted when they were shoved through a gauntlet at a 1991 convention of Navy aviators.
They started putting their hands up my dress and pulling at my pantyhose and pulling at my dress.
The day after our broadcast, Navy Secretary Lawrence Garrett resigned, saying he accepted full responsibility for the handling of the scandal. And the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Frank Kelso, told us the Navy would reform.
The important part to me is to make sure that we never have something like this happen again.
But today, a new incident came to light. It seems that just 2 weeks ago, at a large party at the Miramar Naval Air Station's Officers Club, a banner was displayed inviting Congresswoman Patricia Schroeder to perform a highly obscene sexual act.
Admiral Kelso was over in my office and very kind and very chagrined about the whole thing.
Not only did Admiral Kelso apologize to Schroeder, 2 senior officers at the party have been relieved of command, and other officers are being investigated. Admiral Edwin Kahn, the Naval Air Commander in the Pacific, reacted this way.
All of us are humiliated, disgusted, frustrated.
And Acting Secretary of the Navy Dan Howard says enough is enough.
We had a group of idiots who didn't care anything about the Navy or the future of the Navy who went out and had a party and misbehaved. We're going to make you understand what the rules are, and if you break the rules, you're gone. We don't need you.
Prime Time continues in a moment.
Why get an inferior shave when you could have the best? Why choose ordinary lubrication when you could have the richest? Why settle for average protection against razor irritation when you could have the most advanced, giving you the closest shave with less irritation? Edge Gel. Ultimate closeness. Ultimate comfort. That's the Edge.
Sears 4th of July paint sale means huge savings on lots of brands. Like Weather Beater exterior flat, only $12.99. Easy Living interior satin, just $13.99. But hurry, sale ends Saturday at Sears.
Its conquests are legend. Germ killer, plaque slayer. Now Listerine faces its greatest challenge. The ever-present threat of the gum disease, gingivitis. Gingivitis, you have met your match. Listerine antiseptic. It says what it does what it says.
Now you don't need a prescription to get prescription strength medicine for itches and rashes. Introducing new Maximum Strength Cord-Aid. Now with twice the healing medicine. New Maximum Strength Cord-Aid. Prescription strength without a prescription.
The diamond is a symbol of enduring quality. The same can be said for the Mitsubishi Diamante, an exquisite blend of luxury and performance. And for those who aspire to these special qualities, Mitsubishi offers these special leasing terms. Just $299 a month for 36 months with no down payment. The Diamante lease from Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
Hello, I'm Wilma Smith. Damon Wayans is back with Mo Money, the movie. We'll be talking with him about working with his funny family tomorrow on Live on 5.
Good Morning Cleveland, weekdays at 6 a.m. on News Channel 5.
You've been dreading this reunion for weeks, and now I'm not dreading it.
Sparks fly for an old flame.
Beverly.
Drew.
Libby.
I can't believe this is happening.
I wasn't sure I should come.
Life goes on Sunday.
Primetime continues. Now from Washington, Sam Donaldson.
Who says you can't get rich quick? We know where you can buy land for $2.50 an acre, then turn around the next day and sell it for, well, thousands of dollars an acre. It's all quite legal. The sucker who sells so cheaply is, you guessed it, Uncle Sam. The people losing money are, you guessed it, the taxpayers. And it will not surprise you to hear that the special interests who benefit from this and are fighting reform defend it as the American way. As we first discovered 2 years ago, here's how it works. Oceanfront property in the Oregon Dunes, rocky hills overlooking Phoenix, a winding river in the hills of New Mexico. Yours for just $2.50 an acre, courtesy of the federal government.
Is it a ripoff Can you imagine buying an acre of federal land for about what a cup of coffee and a piece of pie would cost you at a roadside stand?
The year is 1872. Ulysses Grant is in the White House. Jesse James is robbing trains in Missouri. Young men are pushing west, hoping to hit pay dirt. Congress passes a new finders-keepers mining law, giving anyone the right to stake claim to federal land, provided they prove there are valuable minerals to be mined. After putting $500 worth of labor into the claim, the land can be bought outright. The idea of the law was to open up the West, to encourage the development of its mineral resources. Back then, no one was worried about the environment or the scenery. There was so much land and so few people. Now, of course, times have changed, but the law is still on the books. And today, you can still purchase federal land for the 1872 price of $2.50 an acre.
It's the last chance left to get that kind of federal land for that kind of price.
John Leshy, a law professor at Arizona State University and author of a history of the 1872 mining law, cites a long list of outrages. We spoke with him at an exclusive resort with an unusual history, just 12 miles from downtown Phoenix.
This was originally a mining claim. This was all federal land at one time, as practically all the West was, and a prospector came out here in the early 1950s and filed an application under this law for title to the land. And after 15 years of litigation with the government caved in and gave him title to 60 acres of land.
How much did it cost him?
It cost him about $170.
And he then did what with it?
And then he sold it to the developer that built this development. And the land, a couple of years ago, just the land itself was valued at a little over $6 million.
Frank Maluzzo, the man who staked the original claim near Phoenix, declined to speak with us. Leshy says Maluzzo has plans to buy more land for $2.50 an acre right next door to the resort.
And what will he do with that? Well, one can only presume that its highest and best use is probably not mining, but probably something connected with this resort.
But look how close we are to downtown Phoenix. You mean you can mine minerals right here?
Well, the mining law says you don't have to mine minerals. All you got to do is show there's some kind of mineral there to get title. And after you get title, you can do anything with the land you want to.
The Arizona resort is but one example. According to a congressional study of 20 recent public land sales under the 1872 law, the U.S. government sold property estimated to be worth as much as $48 million for just 1/100th of 1% of that price, a mere $4,500. The federal agencies charged with overseeing the land are frustrated by the law, which is sometimes abused by people who have no intention of mining commercially. Dean Swickert of the Federal Bureau of Land Management says of the 10,000 mining claims in his area in Northern California, only 10 mines are in actual commercial operation. All sorts of surprises unconnected to mining turn up on public lands, such as this settlement Dean Swickert took us to see on a claim site outside Yosemite National Park. Helmut Lau says he's milling gold, but Swickert can't see the minerals for the trash.
This resource isn't a resource. This is garbage.
This is not.
This is junk.
That's only in your eyes because you're not creative with your hands.
I am not the creator, but this isn't
the creator is in me, and he's in you too.
But this isn't necessary for mining. This isn't necessary.
It is very necessary for the way I mine, and I have the right as an individual to mine in a way that is feasible and possible and feels good. And when you see me pouring my love energy into the land, like I did after we take a little walk, you know,
I don't question your love energy. I want to see energy in extracting minerals from the earth.
Why, you may ask, if this abuse is so clear, has there been no change in the law in 118 years? Well, for starters, Congress has amended this law several times, but only in minor ways. There's been no fundamental change, because on the one hand, hardly anyone has ever heard of this law, so there's no public pressure to do anything about it. But on the other hand, powerful moneyed interests have worked hard to keep Congress at bay.
The 1872 mining law is one of the cornerstones of this entire economy. And without it, today, America would probably be a third-rate nation.
Jack Kniebel, president of the American Mining Congress, is one of the law's chief defenders. So doesn't that mean you can get land for nothing?
You pay nothing for the land. You pay very dearly for the mineral. You pay the hourly wages. You pay the cost of plant.
Well, that's cost of business, of doing business.
Well, certainly
everyone pays the cost of doing business.
And it's certainly more than nothing.
And to be competitive, you ought not to have to pay anything for the land.
Well, let's just say that that's how this nation has developed.
Listen, the American dream doesn't require the United States